Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This video I want to address quite a few of the map changes that have come in the 9.8 update. They've had significant effect on Corellia, on what we're seeing here on Siegfried Line, on Westfield, and of course on Sand River, which has been dramatically changed. I'm going to be running over what to look out for on the maps and perhaps how you can recognize where strong positions have been lost, and also some suggestions for other strong positions that you can use to replace them. So first up on Siegfried Line, we can see that the dip and the hill that was in the southwestern corner of the map has been removed entirely. This means that this field is very much more open. It's going to be harder for the southern team to defend against an aggressive push from the northern team along the west flank. Wargaming have removed many of the bushes that were alongside these pillboxes. This is going to mean that it's going to be harder for medium tanks and light tanks to immediately rush to the pillboxes and then use the bush to get vision on their opponents without being spotted and shot. Also, I just noticed that I believe you could hide behind these tank traps in the previous version of the game. No longer looks like you're able to do so. Really what I feel that's going to happen is now that medium and light tanks are going to have to try and fight for vision along this ridge line in the center, whereas previously it would be trying to rush into the corner of the map, where there would be some nice hills and undulations that you could hide behind. There have also been some more hidden changes. If you've watched my live streams, you'll know where my favorite position is on Siegfried Line when I am assaulting and also when I'm defending. And that is this pillbox here. I'll show you what this area looked like in the previous version of the game in 9.7 here. As we can see, compared to the 9.8 version, there's much less cover with regards to bushes and trees for you to remain hidden from your opponents. Previously, when I was assaulting, I could very easily knock down this tree in the direction and use it in conjunction with the bush I believe that was there in 9.7 to more or less not get spotted at all. You could poke out here, you could get shots down this alleyway, you could even spot enemy tank destroyers and even very bold artillery that like to make themselves up on this ridgeline, provide good vision for your team and also some hot shots out of here. This position was so strong that I came here in pretty much every vehicle that I could that had gun depression. Now, really, this position has been massively nerfed and you're no longer going to be able to use it as effectively as you did last patch. And so this means that if you want to attack the north during the assault game mode, that you're going to have to probably look further towards the edge of the map, try and use these ridge lines to spot your opponents, hopefully up here, get some fire support, maybe get some cheeky shots off, and then make your way into the dip and come up alongside them in this area here on the map. If you do manage to push over the ridge and get underneath the ridge line, then you should be able to deal with everything apart from maybe medium tanks or some aggressive heavies that are going to come over the ridge, where hopefully your allies will take the ridge line behind you and provide you with supporting fire. All in all, I believe the changes to the western field on Siegfried Line are going to make it, I guess, harder for light tanks to work and also some aggressive spotting from your medium tanks. If you can't use bushes to try and dominate the field, then it's going to be, I guess, a peekaboo over the center ridgeline here. So those are, for me, the key changes on Siegfried Line. Let's move on to our next map. We're going to be taking a look at Westfield. So Westfield has been dramatically changed. Apparently, in the previous version, the northern team had a 10% higher chance to win, according to some statistics that were posted up on the worldoftanks.com portal. So what has been changed to stop that? Well, as we can see, this whole area here has been leveled out. If you want to try and spot from this location, you're going to get shot at from this location of the map over here. To replace this, you have to come further forwards and use this ridgeline here. Well, that looks rather nice. Look at all these lovely bushes that you can get into, hopefully spot out. This is almost a dream for light tanks. Previously, light tanks would try and rush into the bushes here, but oh wait, there's another hill on this side as well. With a lot of trees and bushes on top of it, I've been able to push very successfully with my medium tanks through here, and once you reach these final bushes, you're able to see a large amount of the enemy team and hopefully open them up for your artillery and also your supporting medium tanks on this flank, as well as some of the heavies that might have pushed down into the lower town area. So effectively what has happened is that this southeastern corner of the map has been completely opened up. These 3 new hills encourage medium tanks to push forwards immediately and not simply set up here, here, and some tanks here and here to provide a crossfire, praying that you had competent light tanks that would try and rush into the southeast corner and provide vision for your team. This has led personally for me into some amazing medium tank games where I feel that you can outplay them using the bushes, specifically on top of this hill here, and rushing here immediately will provide you with cover from pretty much all of the rest of the map, unless the enemies want to come and attack you around the corner. So if you're in a top tier light tank, or hopefully a top tier medium tank, you are going to do really well if you try and dominate this location at the beginning of the game. There have also been significant changes in other parts of the map. Look, the village has been extended. It no longer is just a one line that goes up. It's more of a T. Almost looks like a World of Warships anchor for all you Illuminati fans out there. What this will mean is that if you want to try and progress through the town, these buildings should provide you cover from people that want to shoot you up north, and also stop the people up north from getting shot from locations such as these. These bushes here would enable you to absolutely dominate the enemy team if you found them camping up there and your team won the southern pass. And it was the same story on the other side. If you won the southeast of the map, you could make your way up here and simply peg the enemy heavies and tank destroyers that were lagging behind in the side if you did manage to surround them. Now that's still possible, but these buildings will make it harder for you to do so. Now the northwest of this map has been completely changed. Look at this ridge line. Previously, it would come straight along here. There would also be a ridge line along there, and you would have people trying to push up into this area and then get cross shots in. There was a tiny ridge line that came out along here that allowed tanks such as the IS-7 to simply dominate. And then there was a hill over here with lots of trees on it that tank destroyers would love to go up and then stop the enemy team from progressing the fight. Now, however, if I bring it down to a tank level, you're going to be able to fight through these ridge lines, avoiding fire from the side, hopefully being able to out-tank and outgun your opponents. Although these ridge lines are quite shallow, which means that you're going to have to be fast if there are a large amount of artillery on the enemy team. All in all, I feel like this map has been made very much more progressive on both flanks. This is absolutely fantastic changes in my opinion, Wargaming. Hats off to you for this one. I've been really enjoying the new Westfield, and if you guys have as well, please do let me know in the comments down below. But for that, let's take a look at the next map. We're going to be taking a look at Corellia. So Corellia has undergone significant changes as well. This previous pivotal location of the map that was only approachable from these 2 areas is now completely opened up because you can make your way up the slope here and attack your enemies from behind if they are ill prepared. I have to admit though, if you want to try and rush this location at the beginning of a game in your medium tanks or your light tanks, having to come up here and then turn, make your way up the slope, you better hope you're not getting spotted, because you are going to be very much in the open for any enemy tanks that make their way along here. There are a few bushes, however, so if you're able to stop here, you might be able to spot your opponents that do make their way around here and open up lines of fire for your tank destroyers and artillery. I feel that this position is not really meant for the start of the game. What this is meant for is the mid to late game, where you might have some people camping up here and you simply couldn't afford to spend the probably minute and a half that it would take you to go all the way around the back. Now you can be much more aggressive. And even if you find that you're dominating this part of the map, but you simply can't push round through the narrow pass of the southeast, you can come up here and spot your enemy and stop them from locking down this central part of the map from the hill. One thing I should mention is that this location has profound impacts for the assault game mode. In previous versions of the game, the defending team in the assault game mode who would spawn up here would maybe rush a few light tanks or even a medium tank down to here just to provide vision and to stop the enemies from taking this location. These tanks would generally be overcome and surrounded. They might take a tank or 2 down with them, but they're going to die. Now tanks that make their way down there could immediately go straight up the slope and even spot those dastardly tank destroyers and artillery if they catch them unaware that like to hold these locations. On the other hand, people like me, when you're attacking, that love to rush into the D4 location, are going to get more cover from the side. If you make your way here, you're not going to get shot so much by enemies that are in this area, or alternatively, any very aggressive enemies that like to make their way up here. But this also leaves you at risk from an enemy tank that will play aggressively against you. Previously, if you were able to duck back in here, and the enemy tank followed you, then all of your tank destroyers on the ridgeline would have easy shots onto him. Now you're best to duck into this location and hope that his tank is still visible from the tank destroyers. If you're playing the standard game mode and you're a heavy tank, then you might also be able to hold this location and try and provide some supporting fire from either angle depending on what team you're on. Or use this as a more secure route to take if you want to go from the marshy area up into the fighting in the north. And boy, talk about fighting in the north. In 9.8 in Corellia, this whole new area of the map has been opened up. Look at this absolute battleground in the far northwestern corner of Corellia. Previously, the furthest north you could get would have been these locations here. Now, if you want, you can make your way into the arena, and you're pretty much going to be one versus however many the enemy have. Unless you bring some friends along, there's going to be excellent opportunities to hide behind rocks and to hide behind mounds against the enemy artillery, and hopefully provide some crossfire and support for your team. Now, hopefully, you can turn right and progress your way around. And then that provides you with a lovely downhill opportunity to go straight into the enemy base. This area, in addition to some rocks that have been added, makes the north of Corellia a much more viable option if you're not the fastest tank and you want to push progressively. Unfortunately for light tanks, medium tanks, and certain tank destroyers, it means that the enemy is going to get closer to you faster, and so your camo rating is probably going to mean less here, unless you want to situate yourself in the last ditch fire attempt and let the enemies come right through the map. This location does have implications for the assault game mode, which I quickly switched to give you a better idea. It will provide areas for the northern team's artillery to hide behind. Previously, I would rush here and pretty much be able to see most of the artillery, unless they were very clever and hid behind some of the rocks. And also, it might provide opportunities for heavy tanks and tank destroyers to have last-ditch save attempts on their cap circle. So all in all, some very interesting changes to Corellia. Let's take a look at our final map that has been changed in patch 9.8, San River, and that's a map that has been changed a lot in the last few patches. They're still fine-tuning it for all the right reasons. So, Sand River, we meet again. What has happened to the hill? Finally, Wargaming have come to their senses. Previously, this location went to, I'd say, about this height, and now it has been flattened out. What this means is that tanks from this location are not going to be able to get effective fire onto the mid-ridge, and they're also not going to be able to stop tanks from progressing along here. Previously, any tank that made his way up through here from this location would get absolutely destroyed by tank destroyers that would camp up on the hill. This location is also going to have much more trouble. Well, actually, it's not even possible for this location to be able to shoot through this pass here. Previously, when you're up in this location, you could nail all of the tanks that tried to attack from the west. This location was completely overpowered. I've been saying so patch after patch after patch, and hats off to Wargaming for taking it out. And that's because the disparity in the amount of times the attacking and defending teams won on San River was 20%, obviously towards the defending team. There have been other significant changes as well to the defending team to stop them from having such a dominant round. Locations such as here, it has been flattened out. Previously, there was a ridge line that went along here that would protect tanks that fell back behind it. You would not get shot at from locations such as up there, and you would not get hit from this ridge line here. Now you're going to have to watch out. You no longer have so many bushes to poke into. Previously, you could just sit in a bush here and do massive spotting at anyone around this location. While you do have a couple of bushes to use, they are very much more tricky to get into as they're not fully covered. So that means that going into this location is not a no-brainer anymore. Previously, you'd have to be a muppet to not come here in your medium tanks if you were defending. Furthermore, there have been some locations completely opened up. Check out these passes along here. This whole area previously was a bit of a horrible location to get through. You'd be slowed down massively. You could not advance through it very quickly at all. Now you've got multiple routes which you can get in and out of this location. It's been leveled out, and you can even sneak your way up through here into the town, or alternatively up here along the ridge. This location really is a fantastic opportunity for a defending medium tank to rush into and light up a huge amount of the enemy team. Well, at least the enemy team that want to sit in the middle, because generally the attacking team are going to go down the west and the eastern flank. In fact, you can make your entire way from the east to the west of Sand River through this location, and you're easily going to be able to get out on the other side, irrelevant to the tank that you're in. There are also some new rocks here that will protect you from enemy tanks that hold the northern part of the map, so you can take a breather and then continue your assault on towards the enemy base. In fact, if you want to slip over here and go down the ridgeline on the other side, you're going to be able to do the same thing altogether and continue. And then you're going to be able to get out the other side very easily. Effectively now, you can go right through the middle of, I guess, what is Sand River, this dried up river that's meant to be going through the middle of the map. And so we have a whole new location of the map that you can use. And I think heavy tanks will be loving to progress their way through this area of the map. Also, there have been changes in the northern part of the map. You'll know that I would love to rush in my medium tanks to this location. And from here, you would dominate all of the opponents that tried to... Well, they had to rush across here if they wanted to try and take the northern part of the map. Now we can see that this ridgeline here dips out slightly further, and there is a whole new area that the enemy tanks can use if they want to get up and down and around and then be able to take the northern part of the map. And so what we really find is that they're going to be more crunch engagements in this location. Previously, the eastern team would easily take this route, and then there would be sort of a chokehold here where the western team would amalgamate on this location here and then sort of try and hold them off, and this would be the kill zone. Now, if you're approaching from the north and you want to continue your push towards the enemy base in the west, you can make your way up here. And you've got a nice angle to either shoot down here or to poke out and engage your opponents down here. So all in all, fantastic changes to Sand River. I feel like the defending team is not going to have so much of a dominant chance to win in the assault game mode. I think it's very interesting to see what people are going to be doing with this central part of the map. And also that the north is no longer probably going to be a camp here versus a camp here. Hopefully the western team can make the attack up, and we're going to see some excellent fighting in the northern part of this map. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about these map changes. We've had them for a couple of weeks. Have you managed to play many games on them? Have you found these positions that I've told you about today? If so, have they made huge impacts to the way that you've played the map or the way that the battle has panned out? And if I've missed anything, please also let me know in the comments down below. I'll be very interested to know what you guys think. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.